For today's Read Aloud, we are going to go over the same poems that we read yesterday, but we are going to look at and try and identify some of the elements and figurative language that we talked about in yesterday's comprehension lesson. So the first poem that we have is titled Necessary Gardens. And here we have what is called an acrostic poem, where we have a word going down, which is language, and each letter represents a different word. So we have libraries are necessary, gardens unsurpassed at growing excitement. They use the word language because books have words, which is our language, and they're using libraries because libraries have books. Eating alphabet soup. So the first thing I notice is that we have 3 stanzas. Remember, the stanzas are the paragraphs of the poem. So if you have a space in between, just like a paragraph, these are your stanzas. And then I also noticed that the 3rd and 4th line of each stanza has an indentation. So the space in between, the space at the beginning, is called an indentation. Let's see if we can find any similes or metaphors or any other type of figurative language. My advice to the tablespoon slurper: beware what you do with that scoop. The capitals, sir, can cause quite a stir in a bowl full of alphabet soup. So we have rhyming words. We have scoop and soup, sir and stir. And then we also have some imagery, because you can imagine someone slurping soup with a spoon. And you can also imagine what alphabet soup looks like, even though we have that picture here. While K, C, and B do the backstroke. What type of figurative language is that? We have letters doing a backstroke, which means they're swimming backwards. We're given a human-like quality to something that is not alive, so that would be personification. Across this hot, steamy lagoon, the fun-loving vowels may want tiny towels to dry themselves off on the spoon. What is our rhyme scheme here? We know that we have some lines that rhyme. We have A for backstroke, B for lagoon, C for vowels, C again for towels, and back to B for spoons, because lagoon and spoon rhyme. But when letters go swimming together, again, can letters swim? No, so we know that this is personification. In sentences, nothing can beat the pleasure of reading the food that you're eating. So dive in and bon appetit. So lots of imagery and personification in that poem. The big word girl. Of all the clever girls I know, Elaine's the one who counts. But what she counts are syllables and words I can't pronounce. I took her to a horror show, Godzilla Meets Tooth Fairy, but she could not unglue her eyes from Webster's Dictionary. So again, we have rhyming poems. Each stanza rhymes. She put her trembling hand in mine. Godzilla smashed the floor. For she had come across a word she had never seen before. But when the lights came on, Elaine was sound asleep, and snoring I woke her up. She yawned and said, How uncustomarily, extraordinarily, incomprehensibly boring. So here we just have a lot of rhyming words. We have the rhyme scheme: A for no, B for count, C for syllable, and B again for pronounce. So A, B, C, B. And that's the same rhyme scheme that each stanza follows, and here we have 4 different stanzas. Next, we have the poem Balloon. When it first slipped out of my hand, I was sad to see my balloon floating away. So we could close our eyes and imagine a balloon floating away into the sky. So this is giving us imagery. But it rose higher in the sky. I imagined it landing in some faraway yard, where a kid like me would find it and wonder how far the balloon had flown and who held it last. And that thought made me smile. So again, all of that is imagery, because those are all things that we could imagine. The arrow and the song. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to the earth, I knew not where. So for me, this one is giving me a little bit of a hyperbole, because if you shoot an arrow into the air, you're more than likely going to see it come back down. You may not know the exact location, but you'll be able to see it come back down. So this might be a hyperbole, but it's definitely imagery. For so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow in its flight. I breathed the song into the air, it fell to the earth, I knew not where. For who has sight so keen and strong, that it can follow the flight of song? Long, long afterward in an oak, I found the arrow still unbroke, and the song from beginning to end I found again in the heart of a friend. So again, this is all imagery. We could actually imagine the arrow. And lastly, we're going to look at Better Fun. And for this one, we have quite a bit of one specific figurative language, which you are going to tell me in the next slide. So listen closely to see if you can find the personification. Cruising this river on a rubber boat at full speed, bumping our way to the base of the thundering falls, to end up completely slapped and drenched by the cool river water, beats by far any amusement park attraction. So we have lots of imagery here, but where's our personification? You are going to tell me that on the next slide.